Managing land condition is one of the most important aspects of managing a Northern Australian beef business. Keeping the land in good order for their children or future generations is a goal shared by many producers across Australia.
Land condition is critical because it's how much productivity we can get from our native pastures. It's basically our carrying capacity. As a general rule, we're seeing a decline in carrying capacity, and that's across the open downs country, the forest country across Northern Australia. In particular in the Northern Gulf, we're seeing that as well. A lot of producers know that they can't run the number of cattle that they could run on country.
A land condition assessment is the way that we measure an area of country in terms of its health and its ability to produce a suitable pasture for grazing on an A, B, C, D scale, so A being in good condition and D being in poor to very poor condition. The key components we look at when we're assessing land condition, there are 4 of them. The first is the pasture condition, the second is the soil condition or the stability of the soil. The third is the woodland condition or the proportion of trees, and the fourth is ground cover, the proportion of bare ground to pasture. We assess each of these components individually and that gives us a rating, and we take 2 photos. One is a landscape photo and the other is a tray-back photo or looking down into the pasture. The significance of land in better condition is that it can produce more pasture. For example, land in A condition will be able to run at 100% of its carrying capacity for that land type, whereas land in C condition can run about 45% of its carrying capacity for that land type. Reduced cattle numbers or having to run at reduced carrying capacity will affect the profitability of a grazing enterprise.
One property can be made up of quite a number of different land types. Some of those are productive land types that can run more stock, and others of those are quite fragile based on their vegetation and soils. If they are managed the same or that a land condition assessment isn't taken, then you can decline fragile land types a lot more rapidly. By doing regular monitoring, you'll be able to pick up on a change, particularly in your pasture density and health. You'll get smaller clumps more spread out, and then you'll get an increase in less preferred species, annuals rather than 3Ps, and you will also potentially see an increase in weeds. When there is a decline in land condition, ground cover percentage will often decrease and you'll have a lot more bare areas of ground, which then increases the risk of soil degradation.
We've got about 300 sites across the Northern Gulf that have been monitored since 2003, and we're seeing that decline in condition and unfortunately that loss of productivity. Over that period from 2003 to 2016, we've seen about a 6 or 7% decline in carrying capacity, so that's a concern. Land condition decline takes a long while. This could have taken place over 3 or 4 decades. So we didn't see the loss of land condition and productivity happen overnight, and we won't see country come back overnight. So producers who are trying to restore country through systematic wet season spelling and through sensible stocking rates, it's taking them quite a while to see an improvement, in some cases up to 10 years.
One of the ways to learn more about how to monitor your land condition is to attend a stock take workshop. This is a training package that is aimed at understanding land types, what land condition is and how to monitor it, and also how to manage long-term and short-term carrying capacities. There is an app called the Stocktake GLM app that can be used on its own or in conjunction by attending a stocktake workshop. This is a tool that can be used to help you calculate forage budgets, but is also very useful for land condition monitoring. The Stocktake GLM app is available on Android and Apple devices and can be downloaded for free. A few key things to remember about land condition. It's not just about the quantity of pasture, it's more about the quality and the health of the pasture. Another component to remember is that land condition isn't about ground cover. So while the percentage of ground cover needs to be assessed and maintained to manage and improve land condition, focusing on ground cover does not actually give you an indication of where your land condition lies. It's much more cost effective to improve land condition from a C to a B or a B to an A than to rehabilitate land condition that has declined to a D. Land in D condition typically requires mechanical intervention and also seeding for rehabilitation. It is good management to do a land condition assessment every few years or when you've made a management change or decision to be able to monitor the effect of that change.
The key thing about monitoring and taking photos is that you capture smaller changes. So monitoring at a regular interval allows people to capture an appreciation for the fact that it is declining rather than letting that happen for a series of years. You can assess land condition any time of the year. However, it's much easier in terms of species identification to do land condition assessment at the end of the wet season while you have seed heads for your pasture species.
Our beef production from our extensive operations across Northern Australia rely on native grasses and native pasture systems. The people who get the best productivity and are most profitable are the ones that are managing that grass and cattle balance. Producers who do that well are the ones that are able to manage their cattle numbers and manage that seasonal variability with their grass supplies and have enough buffer in the system so they're not caught short of grass and they're not knocking country around in those crook years. It's critical that we maintain the ability of country to produce grass, which ultimately produces beef.
To find out more, go to futurebeef.com.au.
The Grazing Futures Livestock Business Resilience Project promotes responsive stocking rates and grazing management practices that improve land productivity and drought readiness.